It's 5:46, you're with Andrew Easton, and next tonight a woman from Worcester is calling on the government to open a public inquiry for what she's describing as the worst treatment disaster in the history of the NHS. Colette Wintle was one of nearly 5,000 people who was infected when she was given contaminated blood from America in the 70s and 80s. She started a petition asking for the Department of Health to acknowledge its failures, offer compensation and hold a public inquiry. Colette is one of the victims who contracted hepatitis B and C, as well as being exposed to CJD 6 times. Hi, Colette, she joins us in our Worcester studio.
Good evening.
Thank you for coming in. So this petition then, just explain why you've put this together.
Yes, I put it together, I suppose it's fair to say, out of massive frustration, having met with successive health ministers and government officials, and following an independent inquiry which was very strong in its conclusions as to government failures to protect a very vulnerable patient group, namely the haemophilia community, from multiple killer viruses in the blood system. And I suppose the coalition did what every incoming government do. They make noises, there's plenty of rhetoric, but it becomes the same old excuses year after year as to why they won't hold a public inquiry. But this is truly the biggest treatment disaster in the history of the NHS. There is nothing else like it, and it seems stunning to me that they are still refusing to hold a very much needed public inquiry. And if they cannot learn from lessons of the past, then how can we protect the future in blood? And we have, today learned that last week the government has sold off the company Pruck, which supplies all the plasma supplies to the UK.
You say it is a much needed. These are your words, are they anyone else's words?
No, they're the entire community, and they are supported by cross-party support within government and the House of Lords. So it's really very much a case of lack of political will here to get this underway. We have repeatedly begged for an inquiry. We even did manage to get a debate, and in that debate there was huge support from both sides of the House. But what stops it every time is the three-line party whip.
How has your life been different following this? Following contracting hepatitis B, C, being exposed to CJD, what has been different about your life? It has
utterly destroyed my life, because not only will I die from liver failure, and currently I'm being scanned every 6 months for liver cancer because my liver is so damaged now. It has ruined my family life. I've suffered massive loss of earnings. I have no insurance. A whole spectrum of issues have come in here, and this is why we've asked the government to address them. The losses are immense, quite apart from the damage to one's health. And I feel very angry because not only has my life been spoiled by it, my family's life, and the knock-on effect, the ripple effect of that has been huge. And I've given up over 20 years of my life to claim justice for myself and my family and the community who've been infected.
Do the government currently help?
If you would like to call it help, I would actually call it a massive insult. They have set up a variety of funds and trusts which dole out minuscule amounts of money, which in no way can possibly replace what people have actually lost financially. So they have left us with begging bowls, essentially. And it's humiliating.
How much?
Well, some of the trusts, they will offer a sum of money if you need a new fridge or a new cooker. But you have to actually be in the last stages of your illness before they will give you a monthly allowance of, I think it's £1,200. But you actually have to be in stage 2 of liver disease to get that.
So what ultimately would you like? You say the inquiry? Is it an apology? Is it money? Is it compensation?
I want an apology. Most of all, I want an inquiry. But what would be really, really good for me personally is to see justice, and also to have the same compassion that the Irish government showed my 2 cousins in Dublin, who both received substantial sums of compensation. They have been looked after, their families have been looked after, and they have accepted without liability that they made mistakes. That is something that this government and previous governments have never done and are not willing to do.
If people are interested in your campaign, what should they do?
Yes, if they would use the search engine to go on to 38 Degrees Campaigns by You, and if they type into the little search box and put blood scandal in, my campaign will come up, and please sign it and support me in this, because I want answers from the government as to why they have just done a heinous thing, and that is selling off our supplies of plasma to a company that is only interested in making profit.
OK, Colette, thank you. We did ask to speak to a minister from the Department of Health, but we're told there's no one available, but did receive a statement, and they say, we realise the unintended and tragic consequences of these treatments have seriously impaired the lives of many people and their families. From 1998, there has been financial support for those who were infected and their families, which has been expanded and improved over the years. We also keep emerging clinical and scientific evidence under review. I suspect we'll talk more about this in the future. Now, though, we have to move on. Colin, thank you for coming in. It's 8 minutes to 6.